Get to hear the new intro that we made today.
I like it. I'll like it for sure.
Oh, come on.
Are you looking for comprehensive solutions for your performance and automotive needs? Straight Line Performance and Automotive is a full-service auto repair shop specializing in race car fabrication, electrical design, chassis setup, and alignment. Located in Hamden, Connecticut, they also specialize in aftermarket high-performance and chassis upgrades. Be sure to look them up on Facebook at www.facebook.com/straightline, STR8LINE, Performance, &Automotive, or give them a call at 203-415-5316. Welcome, racers and fans, to the Racers News Network Live, presented by Straight Line Performance and Automotive, and your hosts, Chris and Pete, bring you the latest news and interviews in the world of sportsman drag racing, including bracket racing, association races, outlaw, and no-time events. We are live every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take it away, boys.
All right, hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another great edition of Racers News Network Live. We are joined by our personal world traveler to my left. Of course, I'm talking about Jerron Settles. How are you, Jerron?
How are you, Chris?
Good. Are you nice and toasty in Florida?
Yeah, hopefully I don't yawn too much, and it won't be because of lack of excitement, but I literally caught a red eye last night out of Phoenix, and I haven't been asleep yet, so I'm pretty tired. But we're going to have some fun tonight.
Absolutely. Hopefully, our next other partner will be joining us. Of course, I'm talking about the always amazing and laughable Peter J. Sanka. Should be coming on in just a little while, hopefully. But we're going to skip over Pete for right now, and we got to introduce not only a first-time winner in a field dragster, but our great guest for tonight. Of course, I'm talking about Madison Payne. Good evening, Madison, and welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So before I give you to Jerron, I have to say congratulations on your win in Dwayne Shields' car this weekend. It all kind of came together at the literally the last minute when he wasn't feeling so hot.
Yeah, he tested in the car on Thursday, and Jerron and I were both running Super Comp. It was the first race, and he came up to me after first round was over of Super Comp and was like, "Hey, I'm really not feeling good. Can we go to can you come to the tower with me and see if we can change it so you can drive?" So that's what happened.
No pressure at all, though, right?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is I was really happy because I actually took my stuff, my fire suit stuff, out of Dwayne's trailer in Pomona. I put it in the trailer because I was going to take everything home and just bring it to Vegas. And luckily I forgot to take it out of my trailer, so it was there. But there was a moment of panic because I didn't think I had any of my stuff. So, but I did.
Well, congratulations. And how does it feel to hoist that Wally for the first time in the alcohol car?
Oh, it was so fun yesterday. I think a lot of people didn't think I was as excited as I should have been, but it was more just a moment of I'm sorry?
I said you did seem pretty calm afterwards.
Yeah, it just was more of a moment of shock for me because, I mean, I wasn't supposed to be in the car in the first place, and then everything just kind of came together, and then before I knew it, I was at the other end, and I mean, Shane Westerfield came over and hugged me before I was even out of the car. All the Hows were there, and it was just really nice because these are people that I've always watched the alcohol classes because of my dad, and I know these people really well. So to have a trophy in alcohol dragster was just pretty surreal for me.
So not only did you last minute substitute, you were #1 qualifier, low ET, top speed, and of course the winner. Not too shabby a job.
Yeah, it was my first time being low ET of the event and number one qualifier. I've been number two at a national before, and I've had low ET or I've had top speed, but never the other ones. So it was just really exciting because it felt like everything was falling into place. And even if I didn't win, I still was super excited about being number one and setting low ET.
Very cool. Jerron, my good man, I know you got some questions for our guest. And not only were you guys hanging out all weekend together, but you've got
Yeah.
some other stuff to talk to her about.
Well, I was gonna say this is gonna go pretty easy because you guys have already talked about half the stuff I had planned or whatever. You know, her subbing in for Dwayne and number one qualifier. So I'm just gonna shoot right into the race. The consistency. You made one run, I guess the second qualifying run where it smoked the tires, but every run the car went right down the track, which says something about an A fuel car because they're not known for making pass after pass after pass after pass. So that's saying something about Dwayne and his crew.
Yeah, and in Pomona, I smoked the tires a couple times, and that's bound to happen, especially when it's hot out and the track's really hot. But the team, they've really been doing a lot of stuff with the car. Just they've been honestly using races to test because they want to get. Dwayne has a world championship, and that car has always been competitive, but all the cars in the class just keep picking up and picking up. So they've just really been focusing on trying new things and getting the car not only to be consistent, but to run stout numbers. And even Saturday night, Dana Cam and the rest of the team kind of tore the car apart because there were some things that I wanted to change to feel more comfortable and to help me. And they worked above and beyond to help me feel more comfortable in the car.
Yeah, that definitely says a lot for a crew that does that. And that was going to be one of my questions too, is the transition from Dwayne driving to you driving your process, you're a little bit shorter or whatever, a little bit built differently. What are some changes that they have to do seat wise? So did we lose you?
No, sorry. I meant to mute it. I was coughing and I turned off
No
the camera.
problem. No problem. But yeah, so talk about, I mean, are there a lot of changes that have to be made? I mean, obviously, weight balance is one thing with the driver and foot pedals, things like that. Do you guys have to make wholesale changes or do you just kind of jump right in it?
Well, for the most part, all they do is add the seat pad for me. But the way Dwayne and I put our foot on the throttle is really different. So that car, since it's made for Dwayne, and Dwayne races it a lot more than me, I've been having a consistent problem just getting the pedal down fast enough because I'm really not strong enough for the pedal. So that was the big change that they did Saturday night was they moved the pedal closer to me and they also angled it a little bit more. I could be more relaxed because where the pedal was for Dwayne, I had to have my leg not only more extended, but I had to be lifting my foot straight up and have it at the top of the pedal to even get it down.
Yeah.
So it was just a little bit uncomfortable for me. And I think another thing is when you're not fully comfortable in the car and you're thinking about it, it affects you more than you realize. So I'm glad that they went above and beyond to fix it for me because Sunday was like a whole different race car for me.
Yeah. So let's fast forward to Sunday to the finals. So I was on the start line behind you, and Mitch Myers, who you ran the final, went for it. He was 002 on the tree. You kind of missed it. We're not going to say you were 70, but and he had his parachute come out. It looked as though you guys were like side by side, a couple thousand between you. Could you hear him or see him out beside you?
At the beginning, well, I knew he left on me, but I was sitting in the car and I was like, I really don't think I was that late. And then at half track, he was gone and I didn't. Then when I was going down the track, even though I couldn't see him, I still thought he was going to pop up because I was just like, oh my gosh, it was just one of those things that I couldn't process. But when I got out and I got my time slip and saw he was 002, I was like, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, it definitely would have been tight at the finish line because I think all early numbers you guys were pretty even or whatever. He was on a stout run, so hats off to that team. But let's go back to your run against Joey Severance. Joey's the baddest blown car out there. Did you guys do anything different to prepare for Joey?
The car had been running really good, so I don't think they wanted to change that much. I think the whole weekend, the thing that set it apart from other weekends is we were all just really relaxed and kind of happy with how everything was going because we've raced Joey before. We raced him once in Brainerd, and he ended up winning. And he was, I remember he was 34 on the tree. I was 36, and he ran 26 and I ran 27. And Joey's one of those cars where he runs consistently good, but at times when he needs to run better than everyone else, he can. So
Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why I asked that, because you went 21-1 on him in that run. I mean, the fastest run of the week, I'm pretty sure. And so you guys knew he was a threat, because Joey can step up and bite you at any time. So that had to be a good deal to get by him. Let's talk a little bit about you and your brother racing. Didn't you guys have to run each other at Pomona like first round or something?
yeah, second round.
Second round. Okay.
hmm
Tell us about that race.
I don't
In
want.
Super-
I don't want. I don't want. Yeah, sure.
I'm sure Toby wants you to talk about that race.
Toby has brought it up every single day since it has happened.
He paid me to bring it up here, so.
I'm not even surprised. But yeah, I remember first round we both ran good. I was 8 on the tree. He was 12. He came over all cocky because he was 12. I was like, I'm better, Toby. Ha ha ha. And then second round, he was talking a lot, He likes to mouth off. And I remember on the way to the track, I was like, so are you going to race me straight up or are you going to play games? And he was like, I guess you'll have to find out, Maddie. So we get there and I give him, I go, hey, Toby, like, do you want to flip for a coin or do you just want to pick your lane? He's like, we're going to flip for a coin. And I'm like, okay, like you can, okay. And I let him call it and he got the right lane. I was like, I would have given you the right lane. He goes, no, I knew you were going to screw with me. So we get up there and he was 004, I was 008, and we both ran 91. And it was just a good race, but it sucked. Everyone was like, it was a good race. Upset. I was so upset. I got back to the trailer and I was writing down everything in my book, and there were already people at my trailer like, who won? Oh, you let your little brother beat you? I closed the sliding door. I was like, you guys need to give me 10 minutes and then I'll give me 10 minutes.
10 minutes before I punch you all in the face, right?
Oh yeah, it was so bad. I made Sean buy me 2 like large Dippin' Dots. I had 2 of them that I made him pay for before 11:30 in the morning because I was so upset.
Well, it's funny you bring up Sean, because that was my next question. I think that was his fault. Did he not have you on a 90? Because Sean's your crew chief in Super Comp, right? Sean Langdon.
Oh yeah, I mean, I texted Sean the night before because he came up to me in the staging as I was running the field car. He's like, did you see who you have tomorrow? And I didn't know. He told me, and that night I was just like, hey, I don't want to threaten you. I sent him a text. I was like, I don't threaten you, but I want you to know if this car is the reason we lose, I'm going. I swear I have the text somewhere. And he was like laughing about it, thought I was kidding. And then right before we ran, because sometimes it will hold and then sometimes we'll run 90. But I was stressed about that run. I was like, I just want to go 90. I just want to focus on hitting the tree. I don't want to have to think about the other stuff. And I pulled him into the car when I was strapped in. I was like, this car better run 90. And he was like, it will. It'll be okay. It wasn't okay.
Sean, you're fired.
Yeah, fired. We got back to the trailer and he made a joke about it because he was trying to lighten the mood. And I hit him with my book a couple times and I could see the fear. And then I started laughing. I was like, it's okay. I'm just kidding with you. But yeah, I made him take me to go buy Dippin' Dots. And then I finished my Dippin' Dots and I was still sad. And he actually had a Toyota signing. And he was with all the Toyota drivers. And I walk up, cut the line. I have hoodie on, socks pulled all the way up with sandals. I looked like a mess. I was in a state of mind that's not okay. And the drivers are there and I don't say anything. I don't want anyone's autograph. I put my hand out and he gives me exact change for another large Dippin' Dots. And that was it.
At the Toyota signing. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, now we know what the punishment for Sean is. Dippin' Dots. That should be his new nickname, Dippin' Dots.
Dippin' Dots.
Yeah.
So with having that star power of Sean and the lineage of your dad. I mean, a lot of people don't remember your dad ran alcohol dragster a long time ago. So your family's not new to obviously alcohol, but not new to alcohol dragster. Maybe A Fuel, because I'm not sure if your dad ever ran A Fuel. I think he switched over to Funny Car before the A Fuel cars got him, important, if you will. But what's why not Funny Car for you?
Funny car, honestly, it just like I wasn't even gonna run Dwayne's car, honestly. Like that wasn't even a thought in my mind. We were running up and we were just starting to get into that, and I got my own super comp car, and where we were in the process of looking for a super comp car for me, and Dwayne approached my parents about it, and I honestly had no idea. And then at one of the 12 indies they had in 2020, I was over at Dwayne's pit, and I was just bothering him because my dad and Dwayne were sponsored by Peak, so we were always parked next to each other.
Right.
And he was like, "Get in the car," and I got in the car and we went through the procedure, and I went back to my pit, and my mom was like, "Where have you been?" And I was like, "Oh, well, Dwayne had me send his car. It was kind of weird." And she was like, "It's not weird. Dwayne's gonna let you license in that car in the end of the year if you want to," and that's kind of how it came about. It wasn't because I'm college. So we were kind of going to wait for alcohol and other stuff like that till after college, after I had graduated.
Sure.
But I do like Funny Car. I think Funny Car and Alcohol Funny Car and Pro Mods are the hardest cars to drive.
Absolutely, for sure. And NHRA Pro Stock.
I think the Pro Stock is the hardest to be competitive, like reaction time wise and stuff. But I mean, like Funny Car and Pro Mod, you have to manhandle them.
So you mentioned Top Sportsman. You have a Top Sportsman car that you've been keeping in hiding, or you guys been secretly testing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you guys are going to bring out later this year, or is that on hold? Since you're just winning everything at Alcohol Dragster now.
Oh my gosh! If you want the inside scoop, I'll give it to you. Just ask.
We always want the inside scoop.
No, that car is actually a big old Pro Mod car, and it's my grandpa Brad's, and he's had it for I think like 3 years. And when he first got it, he got it from my dad, and my dad had broken his shoulder at the time. So he had someone else run the car for the first couple races of the season, and my grandpa ended up parking the car because of NHRA Pro Mod rules and all this other stuff that comes into play. And he's just had this car sitting in his shop for years, and it's so upsetting to me because I'm like, "Grandpa, we have to run this car. It's so beautiful. It's practically brand new, just collecting dust." So it took me, and I'm not even being dramatic, over a year to convince him to let me run it in Top Sportsman. And I think at first he thought I was kidding. And then when I wouldn't stop bothering him about it, he was like, "Fine, we'll do it." So the thing about this car is my grandpa's one of those guys that's so smart. Like, this car hasn't even hit the track, but it's already had 2 motors in it. It's already had all these changes to it. So right now, all we've been waiting on is a camshaft, and it's going to be in the. So if it's in this week, we'll start testing very soon, but it will be out. It'll be out late spring. It'll be out before the summertime.
Sure. Okay. I like it. Well, we can't wait because, everybody loves a door slammer. It's going to be blown, of course. Everybody loves a blown door slammer. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Big blower. I like it. I like it. So tentatively, what's your plans? Because obviously, with Dwayne and stomach flus and winning, plans change. What are you racing at Gainesville this weekend, or what's the tentative plan to be back in the alcohol car? I know Vegas.
I have to take the SAT this weekend.
Darn school.
I'm trying to transfer colleges right now. I'm a sophomore in college, and I'm transferring next year. But I took the SAT when I was a senior in high school, and they changed part of the SAT so my scores don't count anymore. So I have to take it, and that's why I'm not going to Tucson either.
Sounds like NHRA might have something to do with that or something. They change rules like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, but as for that, my brother, he's getting a super comp car built right now, and for alcohol dragster, Dwayne's still going to be driving a lot. But I told Jay after we won, and a lot of other people told him that we're going to have to add some races to the schedule. We're really sorry, Jay, but you're going to have to add some races.
Exactly.
So we'll probably be adding, well, we will be adding a couple races, but for the most part, we want to get this top sportsman car done. And Dwayne will be running a lot of races where I'll be running, hopefully, my super comp car and top sports. But honestly, if top sportsman and alcohol takes precedence and I run a lot more alcohol races, I'm probably just going to keep my super comp car and hopefully run bracket races with it. Because then the schedules don't conflict near as much and I can still run all the cars.
So by, everybody that drives two cars, that's, has one that's faster, always says the second one slows down, and they sometimes drive it better. Do you feel that now in the Super Comp car, that now it's slow and you can see all the pebbles on the track and people in the stands and all that, and maybe drive the finish line a little bit better? Now that you're going 270 miles per hour.
I think a little bit. I think now I don't really notice it as much, but right when I got my license car, I remember hopping into my super comp car right after, and I was like, this is nothing.
Yeah.
But speed wise, it's not important. I still think is just so hard, regardless of how fast you're going, that it's still a challenge.
For sure. Yeah, Super Comp, well, we all know my woes in Super Comp. Super Comp is just a coin flip in my, I don't want to talk about Super Comp right now, but this is about you. But no, Super Comp is very hard. We're going very fast, and we got to make a lot of decisions at the last minute and all that. But I just know, for me, if I drive a door car and they get back in the dragster, it's like, wow, this thing's fast again. So I know, I watched a number of your runs, and that thing is, when the clutch is coming in, it's pulling the front wheels back off the ground. I think it was second round when you went to 21. He carried the front end out and set it down and picked it back up, and everybody's like, "Wow, did you see that?" So it's got to be a fun ride for you.
Yeah, it's really. I think that's the thing about alcohol. I feel like alcohol for me, I get more nervous for it because I'm not as comfortable in super comp, but it's also a lot more fun because you kind of just get to enjoy the ride.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Because it's just like, okay, you got to get there. But in super comp, the whole time you're going down the track, you're thinking like, where are you? What am I supposed to do now? Watching.
Yeah, and, but also, being a little bit nervous or a little bit anxious makes you concentrate a little bit more, and that's probably why you are doing so well in the car, because it kind of makes you focus. Whereas the super comp car is kind of second nature, you kind of lay back a little bit, and like you said, you're more focused on the run, weather, what are we going to do, and should I take the stripe, should I not take the stripe? Whereas in the alcohol car, it's stab it and go as fast as you can and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, well, thank you. But yeah, I think so. I think like once I'm in the A Fuel dragster, I get a little bit nervous before my run. But when the car starts and we're going, the nerves are gone, but it's still in the back of my head. So I'm thinking everything through, which I think is better, because with a car that fast, I'd rather be a little bit cautious instead
Absolutely.
of.
So one of the interesting things that I didn't know about you till I did a little research on you was you did start out in junior dragsters, but you only did like a handful or so events in that car, correct?
Yep.
How was your transition from junior dragster to your super comp car?
There was no transition between the, because I was not a junior dragster kid whatsoever. I raced 2 junior dragster races. Honestly, it just wasn't for me. I didn't really like it. And then I took like the last time I was in the junior dragster, it was, I want to say 4 years before I got into a super comp car. So I really don't think there was any connection, but running the junior dragster, I did know that it kind of helped because I knew I always wanted to race, but just getting those 2 races, it really made me want to win and be competitive, but in something else.
It was fun, it was cool, but I want to do something bigger and better. Right?
Yeah, I think it was just a matter of I was just used to my parents racing super fast cars and super exciting cars, and then you see those little junior dragsters with those lawnmower engines, and it's just
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
it was just not for me. And they get really into it, and I think the junior dragster program is really good to get kids into the sport. But I was already in the sport, so
Right.
I didn't feel I wanted to go that route.
Fair enough.
So let's
That was a
let's
good thing, wasn't it?
so let's go down that road a little bit. I mean, having the, you know, your mom ran Top Fuel, your dad ran Alcohol Dragster, Alcohol Funny Car, Uncle Randy ran Funny Car and Top Fuel, I believe, right?
Yeah. So my mom drove Alcohol Dragster and Pro Mod and Top Fuel, and then my dad ran. He actually ran stock, and super stock in the beginning, and
Well,
then
that
he
was
ran.
back in like when they had horses and stuff and all that.
Yeah, like
Right?
back. Yeah,
So,
and then he Pro Mod in both alcohol classes, and my uncle ran Alcohol Funny Car and Fuel Funny Car.
yes, yeah, I know, that's right. Yeah, I couldn't remember if you ran Top Fuel or not, but I know you ran Nitro Funny Car, so that's cool. So, are there any? I mean, obviously, most of us have Nitro aspirations. Is that something that you like to go to, or are you content with the alcohol car and just bracket race and Super Comp, or is there an ultimate Nitro goal
I
or Pro
really
Stock or Pro Mod?
I really don't know for the fuel stuff because I mean, my mom raced fuel, and I know a lot of drivers that race in the professional categories, but I just think the sportsman classes for me, it's my opinion, but I really think they're so much more fun and competitive. And I just think they're more fun to drive too. It's not just hit the gas and go. It's
Right.
you do a lot of work behind the scenes as well. And I feel like with us, like you and I, Jerron, I see you up on the starting line watching racing. Even when we're out, we want to be there. We're real racers in the sense like we want to see every class. We're there to watch the races. Even if we can't win, we're gonna watch them. And that's how I just love the sportsman classes. So who knows what'll come in the future, but right now I have a lot on my plate and I'm really happy with everything. But I want to work on getting better in the A fuel car and see how Top Sportsman goes.
That's cool too. You know, someone like you can also help bring, you know, more attention to the sportsman classes, which is what we need. You know, me and Joe Costello and Alan have talked about some things, trying to, you know, kind of just educate the average fan into, hey, look at the sportsman guys. These guys and women are really good racers. They're doing a lot of weather watching, just like the Nitro tuners. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I think people just don't realize. So one thing, having you in Super Comp and Alcohol Dragster can actually help bring some attention to us and kind of I don't know if you read the article about that Mike Salinas wrote, you know, but trying to bring some attention to the sports ranks, because that's, I mean, we're the backbone. You know, it's kind of an overused term, but it's true. You know, so
I totally agree with you. I mean, thank you for that. But also, I think a big part of fans not wanting to watch a sports or not caring is they don't understand. Like you said, they don't understand not only what goes on behind the scenes, but they don't understand. They just see the cars going down the track. They don't know everything that's going on in a run and how exciting it actually is. Because I've seen people, get dropped on their head, and I think that's the most exciting thing to watch. So like one thing that my family always says is the fans are only as smart as you make them. And when NHRA is only talking about Top Fuel and Fuel Funny Car, of course, no one is going to come there to watch anything else. And that's even, I mean, look at Pro Stock. Like you said, Pro Stock, I don't feel like is touched upon near as much as Top Fuel and Fuel Funny Car. And Pro Stock, in my opinion, is the best racing out there because all those cars are so competitive. But I mean, you can lose a race just by being a little bit later than the other guy. They have to be on their game all the time, and that's really exciting. But, they're not as fast and as loud, so nobody pays as much attention.
I think that's one of the things about Pro Stock that of course, like you said, they don't elaborate on is, not only being late, if you miss a shift by 100 RPM or, hurt the clutch in the burnout, like those cars are so temperamental. And I think 95% of the fans don't realize how important the burnout is, how important starting the car is, how important, making gear change and shift. And and like you said, it just goes, you know, somehow, like I've been on a mission here in the last year to try and educate the fans. You know, I know at a lot of the tracks that we go to, Bandamere, we tend to get parked in like a corner spot, and you know, fans will come up and talk to us about Super Comp, Top Dragster, all of it, and once you explain it, they have a whole different attitude about it, and they're like, "We're gonna go watch that. We didn't know you were doing that. We didn't know you had to watch." Like at Phoenix, I brought 3 guys in the trailer and showed them the Crew Chief Pro system and you know how we're looking at the density altitude, you know, and making adjustments. Showed them the download on the run and all that. And they were like, "Wow, we didn't know you guys did all that. We're gonna go watch Super Cup now." And you know, I think that I don't know how NHRA can do it, obviously, you know. So I feel like if we did it, you know, it's just it can only get better and because you know obviously we need all the sportsman guys we can, all the attention. We need more sponsors in the sportsman ranks, and like I said, someone like you, and obviously, I mean, I'm just a nobody, but if we can bring some sponsorship, you know, dollars and attention to the sportsman ranks, you know, who knows what you know, we might get back on TV again.
Yeah, I think if the fans knew how competitive and how close those classes actually were, it'd be a lot more fun to watch. But they just don't know. And for what you're saying, I think the thing about the sponsors is it's really hard to bring in sponsors to sportsman classes because number one, if you're a sportsman and you have a good sponsor, NHRA is going to try to take them and give them to a pro.
For sure.
Okay. I can't it happen, you know. And besides that too, it's what we really offer to potential sponsors. We're not on TV. I mean, the announcers, they use not all of them, but some of the announcers, when the sportsman cars come up, they're like, "Oh yeah, you can go get food now. Top Fuel will be up in 45 minutes." You know, try to have a bit more, because the thing I think that they forget is you can have a packed house, but if you only have pros running, you're going to have hours of downtime. They need us regardless of whether they like us or not, but also we pay a lot of money to be there. You know, I think entry fees got raised last year for us. And controversial, but we haven't gotten a raise. None of the sportsman racers have gotten a raise since the 80s. Now look at how much more expensive cars have gotten. Plane flights, hotels, travel, everything. And we get to pay them more, but they're still going to pay us the same as they paid us in the 80s. Well, they're bringing in more money as well. The whole thing is just, honestly, we're stupid. We're pretty stupid for racing.
I say that every week I get there. I'm like, why am I here? Yeah, no, I'm with you. I honestly, you know, I've talked to Joe Costello a lot. Me and Joe are friends, me and Alan. And you know, I think those guys do care a little bit. I think I'm not going to say there's a hidden agenda by, you know, the sanctioning body to force those guys to kind of talk about other things. But I know, you know, Joe and Alan do a good job, even Jason Galvin, in trying to explain the race. I think the problem is there needs to be, you know, they can only say so much, you know, during an 8-second run. And then, you know, the other thing I noticed is that, you know, it's hard for them to tell what we did at the finish line also, because there's been plenty of times where, you know, I've seen a race where you know, Joe or Alan said something like, well, that's not what they did, you know. So they have a tough job, and you know, so they're all my friends, so I got to kind of take up for them a little bit. But you're right, we need purse increases. You know, the contingency program definitely needs totally revamped. It shouldn't be as hard to get your money as it is. It shouldn't be, you know, as tough a program on the actual sponsors, you know. So is NHRA perfect? No, but we're gonna keep going, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going, so we can only complain so much, but
Right.
it's just a mess, honestly. And I think the biggest thing is they just need some racers in the tower. You know, they have people making decisions who have never been in a race car, who have never worked on a car, who think they understand the sport because they've watched it a couple times.
Exactly.
That's the biggest step, is just getting people in high positions at NHRA that know what's going on.
What'd you have,
I've
Chris?
said this example numerous times on our show. Jerron's heard me say it. one of the first times I ever took my wife to a divisional event. The .90 cars were up, and she's like, "This isn't exciting watching these cars go." But I said, "Okay, hang on." I said, "Let's walk down to the top end." I said, "Let's go to the finish line." I said, "You're going to get a whole new appreciation for what it is." I said, "These aren't stalkers or super stalkers that are launching the wheels 3-4 feet in the air and doing a 40 or 50-foot wheel stand." So we go down to the top end, and I said, "Watch their heads." I said, "All you're going to see is this, and you're going to hear them whacking the throttle." And she gained a whole new appreciation. And my wife did not grow up in motorsports. That's something that they need. And like I said, Gerard's heard me say this a bunch of times, is that, this isn't the class to really watch here. This is the class to watch down there,
Yeah.
So I've got some ideas on how to do it, or not really watch the finish line, but how to educate. So I've said this before, but I'm working on a series of videos where we're gonna show, like YouTube videos, how the throttle stop works, what it does, the adjustments, things like that. And then we're gonna work with Alan Reinhardt and Joe Costello, where I'm going to tweet before, like I said, just before first round, I'm going to tweet my setup. Hey, I'm going to hold a couple. I'm going to do this, and or the weather did this. I'm going to change it, and get those guys to tell the fans, hey, pull out your phone, go to Twitter, look at that video real quick, and kind of get the fans involved in that run and say, well, he said he's going to, hold 4 right here. Let's see if it works. Things like that. I think if you get that average fan involved in it. If you took a fan off the street, or that's walking through the pits that has no, didn't come to watch Supercomp or Super Gas at all, and you say, hey, come hang with me this week, and you're going to be our honorary crew member, they would love it because they're involved. And so that's my idea, is just to try and involve the fans in the stands. If they can say, Maddie's gonna set up honest and just try to nail the tree, because she's got a guy that's a brake pedal racer, and she's going to play this game. Now they can watch and look for an outcome, rather than just watching 2 cars slow down, pick back up, or whatever, and not understand what's going on. So that's what I'm going to do this year, is to try and involve the fan a little bit more in it, and hopefully some other racers will kind of piggyback on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's smart, because they get to not only like watch along, but I feel like it gives people kind of an in, like they feel like they're a part of it because they know what they're doing.
Yep.
So I like that.
Yeah, so we'll get with you, and we'll maybe do something like that with you guys too. We'll add on, so we get a couple people doing it per round, and get people pulling up their Twitter, because they have them. Hey, text such and such to NHR to win a free T-shirt or whatever. Well, hey, go to Shelly's or go to Maddie's Twitter page. Go to my Twitter page and look at that video. And obviously, we're gonna try and do it where our opponent's not gonna hear it or something like that. They got to look at it while we're before we pull the water box or something like that. But I just think if something like that is done where we can kind of educate them, I think we'll get a whole new found fan out of this deal. And if you get one more fan in drag racing that wants to watch more, it's a win-win.
Yeah, I was talking about this. I think a really good idea would to be, because I see a lot of people have vlog channels about racing, but their vlog channels don't have a lot of engagement because they may not race all the time, or just because they're not too, I don't know, pro status, I guess you could say.
Right.
I thought maybe if like the Sportsman got a collective YouTube channel, they could all, one Sportsman racer could do like, this is what my weekend looks like, and then a bunch of different perspectives, and you can see all these different racers. Not only will that bring a lot more people in, but it'll give everyone a little bit of exposure as well.
At the same time, exactly. Yeah, that's been my idea too, because everyone knows I have Top Fuel aspirations. When it happens, I don't know, but obviously I'm trying to build a brand, and so I want to use that platform with Supercomp to help get some exposure to myself and other drivers too. There's a number of drivers that I think would be good for this and help bring attention to the sportsman ranks.
Yeah, I agree, because I think a lot of sportsman racers that are really good drivers, but you don't see them winning all the time, so they don't have that respect factor, and they don't have people watching them. Where there are a lot of people who I watch that I think are great drivers who haven't won a race yet, but I know it's going to come, and I like watching the underdogs because it's the people you least expect usually that bring down the big guys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I never pull in the lanes right, so that's why I don't win
Yeah,
races. So
it's okay. It's okay.
I'm gonna
I-
I'm trying to figure out how to come in sideways next at Vegas. I don't know. I'm
You're
gonna try.
gonna try and drift into the water box?
I might have to try that. So me and Cody Weber came up with an idea. We said this past weekend at the last division race, we said, all right, what we're gonna do is when you unplug the charger, instead of just unplugging it and getting in the car, we're gonna walk around the car, make a lap around the whole car, just to kind of delay who you might run. And that didn't work. So then we're like, all right, we're gonna make 3 laps this time. And that didn't work. Well, it worked for Cody. He won first round. I did. So I don't know what I'm gonna do this time. I think I'm gonna just unplug the charger and run to the stage lanes and run back. I could stand to lose some weight anyway.
yeah, whatever. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well,
Super
you
comp.
have a wing. You have a wing on your car, don't you, Duran?
Yeah.
Do you like some of those strongman guys? Do you go up and headbutt your wing or something like that? You know what I mean?
Well, hey, no, I won't do it. I have a piece of the wing here because it got broke on the way to Pomona, I believe. Whatever. I was gonna say I could probably do that now, but I won't.
No, race day only. Race day only.
Race day only.
Yeah.
So Maddie, growing up, how was it growing up? Obviously, if you're in that, you don't understand. Like, for me, I'm a Shelly Anderson fan, or I'm a Joe Amato fan, or I'm a, whatever. So from the outside looking in, we're like, oh God, but how is it growing up with a Shelly Payne and a Jay Payne as parents? Like they're superstars, or are they just mom and dad?
It's so weird because they're just mom and dad to me, and I mean they're just my parents. I'm mean to them, so they're where to be honest, there are times when
I've seen you be
Sorry.
I,
If your
I,
parents are watching, sorry, this is too good.
I have a patience problem, and they don't like super comp that much. They want me to win, they want me to do good, but they hate super comp, honestly. They really do. And my dad hates it the most. He's like, I'm just so over the fact that you're going too fast and you lose too fast. Like, hates it. And but it's just funny because they're just my parents, and it doesn't happen a lot, but there are just sometimes where people come up and they're like, oh my gosh, I love you, or I watched you here and here. And I think it's cool because I mean I kind of forget what
Sure.
they've accomplished, so it's a good reminder for me. But also it really helps me a lot because they've been through everything I'm going through and everything I'm learning, but they
Yeah.
have actually gotten to a point of like a great deal of success. So they have the inside scoop on everything, and they really know what to do to help me get better. And they're both really smart when it comes to the cars, to tuning it, to working on it, everything. So I mean I always have them at races just because they're my parents, but if anything happens they can take.
Yeah, I remember. Didn't when Shelly's dad, when Brad was racing, wasn't Shelly working on the car then, the alcohol funny car years ago?
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
she was working on the car. I think she even drove the truck a little bit, and she had to wait till she graduated college to race. So she worked on Brad's car all the time just to make sure she was out there so he couldn't go back on the deal. But yeah, you can tell she's worked on cars. She's a very strong person.
Yeah. So now this is just on a side funny joke. Does your mom understand that her dad is the original Bay?
Oh my, you have no idea how annoying that was. I remember a couple years ago when Bay happened.
Right. Yeah.
Like it was so bad because I would always post stuff like
Right.
him, or I would call Bay on my phone, or Bay and like, oh, who are you dating? I'm like, it's not that. Isaac. It's been around for decades. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's really. And then there was a time where they were even doing the E when Bay came out.
Yeah.
This is too similar. Someone stole it and tried to make it their.
No, for sure. We've been saying that for years. That's so funny. But so your mom never ran Super Cup? She
No,
went straight to alcohol?
yeah.
Wow. Okay, that I didn't know.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well,
And
maybe
then,
she should go. Maybe she should get in the Super Comp car, and maybe she'd like it a little bit more, and Jade have a better understanding of it.
I think she would get angry for sure. I think it would make her even more mad. Like when you start losing close races in super comp and you feel like you have no control over it, I don't feel like she could handle that. Because, if she lost, she would be like, okay, let's change this on the car and make it go faster. You can't do that in super comp.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, we gotta get Shelly in a Super Comp car. She's gonna drive my car in Vegas. How about that? We're gonna get her in. We want her back behind the wheel.
Yeah, we need to get her in something faster because I think she would probably overdrive it. She would want to wheel it so bad.
Well, me and you have two pretty fast Super Comp cars, so if they're not fast enough, yeah, I don't know what's fast enough for her.
Yeah. So
So when was her like? Did she retired from Top Fuel, right? Did she never race again after Top Fuel?
no, she retired from Top Fuel, I want to say in like 99, like
Okay.
right I was born, or right before they were trying to have the Angel. And
You ruined it.
well, then after she had my brother and I, she raced Pro Mod for
That's right. She did race Pro Mod. Okay. Yep. I remember
race
that. Yeah. So,
for
but
years.
right. But for now, she doesn't have any more aspirations of driving. She's done.
No, she wants to get back into the car, but she broke her back in a pro crash. And when that happened, it was so bad that she wants to get in the car because she doesn't care. But basically, the doctors say like if you have another bad crash, you can get paralyzed. So
Oh yeah.
my grandpa and my dad won't let her get back in the car.
I got you. Well, we don't want that to happen then. So all right. Okay, Shelly. You learn Super Comp. You tell her I said she needs to learn Super Comp and learn to love it.
Yeah,
Because
get
it's
Shelly.
Put
exactly
her in one of your videos, Drew. Started out with her mother in one of your videos.
I would definitely will. Definitely will.
This is how you stay calm driving Super Calm by Shelly Anderson.
Oh my God.
Or Shelly Payne now, excuse me.
If
Yeah,
you just
Shelly.
tell her about super calm, she won't stay calm. I'm so over this. This is so dumb. I'm done. Like she's not again.
Well, in her defense, I say the same thing, but normally it's about 100 foot past the finish line when I watch the other guy's light come on, and I'm like, no, mine was broke. No, I saw his come on. This is so stupid. I hate this class. This is dumb. I'm never doing this ever again.
I think over at my through waves, we go through our angry phase after we lose, and then we calm down. We go in our tower home. We maybe eat breakfast. I don't know. We talk about it. Get through it together, and then you go on live timing and you see the results of some of the people who won, and then you get angry all over again.
Yeah. So I'll tell you how my routine is when the red light doesn't come on. From the finish line to the turnoff, I want to never race again. I want to retire. I'm done. Never racing again. By the time I make the turnoff, I want to race next year, but I'm done for the year. By the time I get the ticket, I'm like, I kind of like to race next month. When I get to the trailer, I'm ready to race again. That's my whole deal. I go through this emotional roller coaster or not just a downslide of just like, I'm done. I'm never racing again. That was my last ever pass. And then once you calm down, you're like, all right, I want to race again. Is there another race?
Yeah, you're gonna come back. You just had to get it out.
Yeah.
No,
I
don't look at anybody except for the guy giving you your time slip and get back to the trailer and then get inside as fast as possible and then look at the time slip.
yeah. I try not to look at it when he gives it to me, especially if it's a little. I'll look at it when I get to the trailer. It's no sense having a even angrier ride to the trailer, basically.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, have we gone over our time limit, or do we want to go for like another 6 or 7 hours, maybe? I'm
Oh,
kidding.
I know you could. But
Well,
I wanted to throw one last thing out. Um, Atlanta Dragways kind of got a little bit of history in your family. Is that correct?
Oh,
Madison?
yes, I think so. I don't know all the stats.
I don't have all the stats, but I just have the basically that, you know, let's see. You made your debut in A Fuel in Atlanta.
Mhm.
Well, hold on, bear with me. I read slow. Uh,
he's an old guy,
you know,
man. It's okay.
I think it was it your grandfather obviously raced there.
Brad won there. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And your mom raced there. You raced there. So that's pretty cool. You got multiple generations that have had success at that track. I mean, you made your debut.
Yeah. I let everyone down because Shelly got her first win there. Brad's won there. Jay's won there. I think in both alcohol classes.
Yeah.
And just ruined it. I ruined the pattern.
Yeah. Damn shame. Yeah. I don't know what we're gonna do with you. That was just. God.
And all this.
All right.
No, it was.
The new generation starts something new at a different track. Right?
Well, I don't know. The Paynes and Andersons have won at a lot of different tracks other than just Atlanta. They have a long, strong lineage in the alcohol, sportsman and professional classes. So, and Randy is tuning for. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have a fun fact.
All
You're gonna be happy with this. I actually have one fun fact. Yesterday, I found out that was my first win at that regional race, and that was my dad's first win was at that regional race like over 40 years ago. I don't know. I think super.
Wow. Well, that's cool. Little fun fact.
That's the only.
Back when
I do have one announcement that I want to make that it doesn't have anything to do with you, Madison. I promise. You might know but one or both of these people, and same thing with you, Jerron. Yesterday, DJ Cox, Division I top alcohol funny car racer, and his girlfriend Melissa Thompson, didn't have a banner weekend at the Baby Gators, but they went to the beach afterwards, and they got engaged. So big congratulations to DJ Cox and Melissa Thompson. So
congratulations to DJ, another Maryland racer. There's not many of us, but he's one of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw it on Facebook and I liked it because I know both of them and they've always been really nice to me. So it's nice. I honestly I thought they were already married. I mean, they're always together, racing together. They have super comp cars and the alcohol funny car. So it's exciting.
You're gonna get DJ in trouble saying that.
I didn't mean to.
It's okay.
she got drawn into it. That's what it is.
So is the next race the Vegas Worldwide for you? And
yes, the 4
alcohol and super comp.
Yep. We'll have to see. We have to do a little bit better in super comp,
Yeah, you and me both. Yeah. And that's
I were on the same train last weekend.
exactly. Yeah. Not too many win lights came on yet, but we're all gonna refocus and regroup and head to Vegas in about 3 or 4 weeks. I'm not sure how long it is. It ain't long enough. I can tell you that much for sure. But
it's 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah. So, and I've got a lot to do in those 3 weeks. But it'll be fun. We'll run the national and then stay over and run the double divisional. So now I love the fact that we have all double divisionals: double Phoenix, double Vegas, then double Bakersfield. Although it's expensive, for the weekend, I do like getting 2 shots at racing for the weekend. What do you think about that?
I like double divisionals a lot more because one, you can pick up 2 divisionals for the price of one, which is easier. But also, if you do bad at one, you still have a chance to do bad at the other.
Exactly.
So I think I really like. Yeah, I'm not going to Bakersfield.
Okay.
Because they put it over a national event. Come on.
Oh, what national is it over?
I think
Is it
Dallas.
Bristol? Oh, Dallas. Oh, yes, it's in October. Yeah, I got you.
But also, we have no races in the month of May.
Yeah.
Should have put
So
it there.
yeah, I know we could have. Yeah. So I know pretty much because it's such a gap in between Vegas and the next one, we are going to go up to Division 5 and run Vandermeer, their Lucas Oil Divisional, leave the rig, and then go back for the Mile Highs, which they don't have alcohol, so you guys probably won't be there. And I think we're going to skip Sonoma solely because it's just too far for one race.
Yeah. I like Vandermeer Speedway. That's one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah. That should be a bucket list for every race fan, every driver, everybody. It wasn't for me until I went there, and I'm like, oh my God, this should have been on my bucket list. So anybody listening that hasn't been to Vandermeer, you gotta go one time just to see that place. It is amazing. The fact that it's cut out of the side of a mountain, the people there are great. The owners, the Vandermeer family you won't find better track owners anywhere. I mean, they are just phenomenal. They do an excellent job at promoting our sport. We ran a divisional there in 2020, which I should say this quietly, but there was like 20,000 people there for a divisional. Norwalk is the only place that gets something like that. It's like, it was nuts, but go to Vandermeer.
Yeah. No, Vandermeer is one of the, first off, you didn't even mention that you have to stay and watch the racing at night too.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Up on that mountain, it's awesome. But Vandermeer Speedway, like you said, Tammy and her parents and that whole family, they're so nice. But that track, not only are they great people, but that track is so successful because they put on races. And I think even the national event they have there, NHRA should be thanking Vandermeer so much because they do so much publicity for that track on their own that they have people every race. They have the locals and they have the supportive people. And I've been to divisionals there with the funny car. They were absolutely packed. It was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it. And I think another thing that they do is they bring in a lot of fun stuff because, they'll usually have like one cheeseburger stand. They bring in huge tents and involved with charity and school. So they have charity auctions. They have the students coming in to watch. I think the way that Vandermeer does it, it's one of the best tracks.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. The whole fanfare, everything around it is wonderful. Like I said, there's like I said, just food. I mean, at Phoenix the other day, there was one stand open. It was like, wow, okay. Vandermeer, there's like food trucks and circus clowns and jet cars and balloons. And it's like, I've never seen anything like this for a divisional. So yeah, it's great. And like you said, the national, we ran the national last year, and for I remember first round of Super Cup pulling out from under the tower, and the stands are packed still on both sides. They're watching Super Cup, and it's like, this is crazy, that they love racing. So yeah, but we don't want to hold you up too long. Chris is giving me the cut it short sign. You're going long. Plus, I got to get some sleep anyway.
Yeah, you've been up for what'd you say, like 3 days or something?
I've been up for a long time. I haven't been to sleep since, I guess, Saturday night. Yeah, once I got up Sunday to race, I raced all day Sunday. Caught a red eye last night, got delayed at LAX for 3 hours, didn't leave LAX until midnight last night, and then landed in Florida at 6 a.m. And I had a girl sitting next to me that kept elbowing me for like every 5 minutes. So yeah, I'm tired.
My flight got delayed last night too, but my flight was only an hour long, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, mine. I pretty much flew the entire night away. I love flying west because you kind of game the whole day, but flying back east,
the day's over.
It's gone. Yeah, you fly the whole day or night away. Whatever you do, it's over. But thanks for coming.
I did the west to east once, and I'll never do it ever again.
Yeah. Well, I've already done it 4 times this year already. So
you just keep on doing that. You do it for me.
I left Pomona Sunday night and flew all the way to North Carolina to paint a promo car. So
yeah, you told me you were going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
were you painting? Are you going to give us the top information?
It's Marcus Butner's Pro Nitrous car for ADRI or PDRA. I'll post some pictures of it tomorrow. I actually keep forgetting to post pictures of it, but I'll post some pictures tomorrow.
Oh, good. I saw you doing one of the Pennington's cars, I think it was, and you were just freehanding it. And I was like, okay, we get it. You know how to paint.
Go off.
If only I could drive as good as I paint, I could probably turn the wind light on. That's my, sell your soul to the devil. I want to win, Daddy. I want to win. But
All right,
instead,
what I want to see at the next race where you both are there running in Super Comp, I will actually buy the subscription for the weekend if this happens, is you two in the lanes against each other.
I don't want to race her.
Time trials. How about that?
Yeah, time trials. Yeah, we'll do that.
I don't know that many people. I don't know that many people in Super Comp, so I don't want to race Sharon. One of the people that talks to me, it makes me feel less awkward.
He'll still talk to you. He needs all the help he can get.
Yeah. If we do that, we guarantee one of us goes the second round. So we might need to
do that.
That's a guaranteed winners interview on Monday.
Exactly.
One
Yeah.
has to be first round winner.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, but no, yeah, we'll try to line up because I'm definitely starting a YouTube video where I'm getting a lot of footage now. We're gonna get some more footage at Vegas, so we'll try to do that. Maybe try to line up for a time run and get some.
We have raced each other before in shootouts.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
you beat me and I've beaten you. Which one?
Yeah, I beat you first, then you beat me in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I beat you most recently.
You did. I went red, to be truthful.
I don't know how you know that, but if you want to use excuses, we can let him.
The only reason I remember that is because I very rarely go red. Now watch, I say that and I'll be red the rest of the year, but I was red. No, I honestly, when I ran you, it was in a shootout. It was for the year-end shootout. I didn't even know I was in it. My car was, I had it tore apart because I was having problems with it. And NHRA rolled over and was like, we need you in the lanes now. I'm like, for what? A shootout? I'm like, there's not a panel on the car. And so they were, Ted and Jen and everybody were in the lanes to run Top Dragster. So I literally had to throw the car back together by myself, get a tune up and hurry up there. And so I was just rushed and not any, you probably would have beat me anyway, but still, I remember red lighting just because I was like, I barely made it, but.
I didn't know that I was in it either. Someone sent me like a Snapchat of the Facebook post that day or the day before. And I was like, what is this for? They had to explain it to me. I just came on the list. I didn't know what was going on.
I didn't know what it was about either.
Well, because remember, I think they did it like the first Vegas of the next year because they didn't do it. Yeah. They were supposed to. Yeah. So we all didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it was in April at the first Lucas race. Yeah, you're right. It was. Yeah. So, and I haven't been in a shootout since. I don't know why. I tend to win the run for the money a lot. I think I've won like 4 of those. Mm-hmm. As far as the shootout, I don't know what. I haven't been in one since.
Oh, I haven't either. I remember I went red in the finals of that race, and like I have missed the shootout by 1 or 2 spots, probably. Yeah. 5 or 6 times since then. Yeah.
But I remember at Phoenix, I think it was 2 years ago. I think the next day after we ran, or the next shootout, it was like they were giving away 890s. I remember it being like I went a 90 with a 7, and I was like the 27th person to go 890, and it was nuts. So I wasn't even close to getting in the shootout. I don't know how it was that nuts, but.
Oh, sometimes you can get in with a 91, and then like last weekend, the second race, you had to have like a 90 with a 6, I think.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but so I'm looking forward to Vegas and looking forward to seeing you there. And we're gonna have an exciting season in the Pacific Division, even though I'm a Division 1 guy, but I'm Division 7 now.
You're Division 7. You just live in 1.
Oh, he's the Hawaiian division.
I still have a 1 number. I like my 1 number because it kind of confuses people. Like, is that a 1 or a 7?
Yeah, traveled all the way out there. They're like, "What's going on?"
Exactly. Yeah. So
All right, Madison, thank you very much for coming on and hanging out. I hope you had a good time.
I did. Thank you for having
You're
me.
very welcome.
Thank
And,
you, Sean.
then tell Toby he owes me some money. So I'll be expecting that in Vegas.
That- Money?
Yeah, for mentioning him beating you at Pomona.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll pay it. I'm sure.
Was that your little brother that came in behind you and waved? He's got a white sweatshirt and I think a black hat on.
Yeah, he's been trying. He has pajama pants on and his mom's slippers too. Just didn't see that part.
All
But
right,
yeah,
so he's got to show that. He's got to show that. Bring him in.
Yeah.
Bring him.
Toby, come here. Watch. No, he was in the corner trying to make me laugh, and that was the
Because he came in over your shoulder and did a wave.
I didn't see that.
oh, he went outside.
Well, what about is Shelly or Jay there? They got to come by and say hello.
Oh my gosh, I'll take you on a trip if we
Yeah.
can go see.
We're
Yeah,
going on a trip on our favorite rocket ship.
Shelly,
Through
they got to at
the
least say hello.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of rude. I don't know what they could be doing.
Exactly.
Let's see. I don't know. My house is never this quiet, so I definitely feel like Toby's hiding from me.
They're all hiding.
That's like when
Yeah,
you're
Toby's
parents and you have
outside.
kids and your
Toby's-
house goes quiet. There's nothing good that comes from a quiet house when you know people are there.
I
Exactly.
see Toby.
Uh-oh.
There. Toby.
This isn't fair
he's
because
running
she's on the
away.
other coast
But
where
if I
it's
can
sunny and
turn-
warm, and I'm up here where it's cold and rainy.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
We
we're
might have
losing
went
her.
too far from the Wi-Fi.
See, now that's just wrong.
Toby.
Look at the blue skies and the
I know.
green grass. I still got 3 feet of snow in my yard.
Is he taking out the trash?
Toby, they wanted to see you and your outfit since you came into the podcast.
Not my greatest.
Whose
outfit.
slippers are those?
My mom's.
I told you. It's bad over here. He
That's
only gets
hilarious.
dressed
God.
halfway for school because it's online.
Oh
So-
yeah, I got you. That's
He
hilarious.
looks presentable, but really it's horrible. He only wears the hat because he doesn't know how to brush his hair.
I'm surprised he hasn't figured out the green screen behind him and like the commercial, the guy at the football
Yeah.
game at the Zoom meeting.
Oh, God.
Why haven't you figured out the
Might have
Froze.
to, yeah, go back closer to your Wi-Fi connection.
Well, that's okay. That was enough for Toby anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his only job. Don't let him convince you that he helps around the house. His only job is to bring in the trash cans.
My son has one job, take the trash out. And it's an argument every week. So trust me, I understand.
Yeah, well, Toby didn't go to school today because he was tired. He went to online school, so he has to suck up to Shelly a little bit.
Gotcha. Well, we won't hold you. We'll let you go. Enjoy some more of that blue skies. It's already nighttime and dark here.
Yeah, it's
And-
probably
and-
cold
here.
there too.
Well, no, I'm in Florida, so it's warm. I got the AC pumping. Chris is in the cold weather
It's-
up
yeah,
here.
it's 40 degrees, pouring rain I still got 3 feet of snow in my yard. So
I think he lives in like Massachusetts or something. I'm not sure. He's
Oh, I
been-
live in Camp, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. I got you. It
Yeah,
doesn't
I
get
don't
any
even-
cooler than that, right? What's your across the street's Canada, right?
Yeah, if I go 2 hours that way, I'm in Canada.
God, I was joking.
Yeah, I don't even know what snow looks like. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow,
It looks, it's like the backside of this paper.
Well, thanks a lot for putting up with us, and we will see you in a couple weeks in Vegas, and we're gonna
Yeah.
both try to put some win lights on.
it should be lucky for us because we're in Vegas. So hopefully we can do something.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Madison. Thank you again for your time. And like I said, I'm glad you had a good time. And good luck for the rest of the year and beat up on him.
You know, as long as we both win a couple rounds, I'll be happy enough with that.
It's a win-win for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Figured-
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Madison Payne was our guest tonight. Thank you again. Best of luck in the rest of the year. Hopefully we'll talk again.
Thank you. Bye.
All
Yeah.
right. Bye-bye. All right, John, you got a minute to run through the results? I got them all. Or you
Sure,
need
we
to,
can do that.
you need to go.
No, I'm good. We can yeah, we can go over some results. I think there was the Baby Gators and the double Lucas Oil event at Phoenix. Now I'm not sure. The Baby Gators is just one race, right? That's not a double, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Now,
So
the only results I was able to find was from the race where Madison won. I haven't seen the other. They may be out there somewhere. I haven't found them.
what's that? The Gators or
Wild Horse.
Wild Horse? No, they're up on the Division 7 Facebook page. And also if you go to the Division 7 Pacific Division Facebook page.
I might have just missed them. It wouldn't be the first time.
I know Bob Bunkerford put up some of the results. I can tell you some of it just from memory.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I found it. All right. So anyways, let's start out with the Baby Gators. What is, of course, that is for us. Baby Gators, top alcohol dragster, Will Smith. I think he was actually substituting for somebody else well.
He was driving Robin Samsel's car.
Yep.
I think Robin will be back in the car this week for the Gators. But yeah, way to go, Will, to jump in a car he's never drove before and win.
All right. Top alcohol funny car, Division 1, Matthew Gill from Massachusetts takes home the win over Aaron Rochon.
Yep, Aaron Rochon.
Super Comp. Yeah.
You need some longer arms there, Chris. Or better hands.
These sheets are great, but sometimes when they print out, they're blurry as all get out. Train Kessery, is that correct?
Say that one more time. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. I was yawning.
Train Cressery.
Oh, that is
like.
Trene. You throw that one up. That is Trene Cresoni.
I was close.
Yeah, Trene is from Louisiana, Division 4 guy.
Okay, that answers that.
He actually raced baby Larice. They actually travel in the same trailer together. So for both of those guys to go to the final and run each other, that's pretty cool. That's a win-win for the Larice Motorsport Insurance family and the Cresoni family. Hats off to Trene. That is, imagine that custom painted car also, by the way. The winner's choice.
Nice. Congratulations, customer car. Woo! All right. Super Gas, a name that everybody should know. And if you don't, you're living under a rock. John Labouse took home the Wally.
The loose caboose.
Let's see. Super Street, Alan. Oh boy. Kremka.
I'm not sure about that. I'll have to be. I'll be totally honest with everybody. I don't know any of the results from the Baby Gators, so yeah, I don't know if I can help you with that one.
In a 1972 Gremlin
Wow, that's even
in
more.
Super Street.
I should know that too. I don't know who that is. Well, hats off to him for taking a Gremlin to the winner's circle. My grandfather used to have a Gremlin.
Comp eliminator David Billingsley over Greg Camplain. Super Stock Corey Taylor over Kevin Reiner. Stock eliminator, another Division 1 driver, Tim Barrett over Randy Wilkes. Top sportsman Calvin Snow over Doug Kremrick.
Crumlin.
Thank you. Top dragster Jeremy Hancock over Robert May. And moving on to, let's do these in order. Bring my other computer over here. Let's see, Wild Horse, the NHRA Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series, Lucas Oil Drag Racing event #1 for Division 7, Comp Eliminator, Joe Morris over Randy Jones.
That was Joe Moseris, I believe.
Thank you. Superstock, Larry Zafala.
Zavalia.
Over, man, I sound like Pete tonight with these pronunciations. Oh my God.
Where's Shorty at tonight?
I don't know.
Probably still trying to climb the rope ladder to get up to his desk to get on.
Learn how to use the keyboard. Super Comp, Brandon.
Dozal. Brandon Dozal.
Dozal. Okay. Couldn't tell if it was an I or an L.
Yep.
Over at Leroy Duran. Super Gas, again, a name everybody should know. Luke Bagacki over Mike Boehner.
Later.
Almost said it. Almost slipped.
You were trying. Mikey's a friend of the podcast, so we gotta
say that right. I still remember the first time he came on. He's like, "You think you have a bad last name? You should try mine." All right. Super Street, Dan Rain or Bain? Bain over Gary Erickson. Top Sportsman, Dean Hall over Monty Green. Top Dragster, David. Oh boy. I can't tell if that's an H or an L.
I'm trying to remember who it was.
Meyer?
Oh, David Meyer. Yeah, David Meyer.
All right. Over Chris Thode. And Sportsman Motorcycle. Oh boy. Kaha Woods over Matt Blue. So
did you do stock? Because I think Brad Burton doubled there.
All right, if I apologize if I did miss stock. Yeah, Brad Burton over Ryan Mangus.
Yep, Brian Mangus. That was a stock final round in stock eliminator. The entire race, that first race we ran it on Thursday and Friday, and the Phoenix is kind of wild. It was pretty warm on Thursday, or Wednesday was really warm. Thursday was a little cooler, but then Friday it was cold. It's like a whole different set of circumstances on Friday. So hats off to everybody that went around and dealt with that change of weather we had on Friday.
I'm just saying, my son was watching the Xfinity race from Vegas, and obviously Vegas isn't that far from Phoenix. They actually had to have a delay for snow.
Yeah, it got unseasonably cold there over the weekend. It was jacket and coat weather there Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday it started to warm up just a little bit, but it was still pretty cold.
That is all our results from this past weekend for NHRA. Next weekend, obviously, go ahead.
So you missed the second one, so it was a double for us there. That was race 1.
I did not go through it.
I don't think so. Race.
Maybe I did. Maybe I've envisioned it in my head.
Because I can tell
all right. Sorry, the second race of Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Pacific Division. Top Alcohol Dragster, Madison Payne, our guest this evening, took home the win over Mitch Myers. Not only did she take home the win, she took home #1 qualifier, low ET, and top speed. Funny Car driving his own car this weekend, Top Alcohol Funny Car, driving the family car, if I remember correctly from what I read. Shane Westerfield over Brian Huff.
Yep. That was I'm pretty sure they still ran. I think they still use the same team when he drives Rick Jackson's car, because I know Jimmy Rector was tuning, because it was a pretty stout final between him and Brian Howe, with 2 stellar tuners, Jimmy Rector on Westerfield's side and Johnny Lindbergh on Brian Howe's side. So it was a battle of heavyweights in the Alcohol Funny Car final.
Comp Eliminator, Joe Mazeris over Cody Lane.
Joe doubling up in comp eliminator.
Super stock, Larry McClanahan over Tom Ferrugia. Ferrugia?
You said it right the first time.
Ferrugia? Hey, some G's are J's and some J's are G's. You know what I mean?
I hear you, Jeeves.
G. Yeah, what up, G? All right, stock eliminator for the double up. Brad Burton over Justin Jerome. Super comp, a class that's near and dear to Duran. We pick on him a lot about it. More so Pete than me. I just sit here and go. Again, super comp, Ryan Harem.
Yep, Ryan
Herm?
Harem. High gear
Herm?
Harem. I call him Herm.
Herm over Bobby Dye.
That was
Super
an all
gas.
California final and Super Cup.
Cool. Super gas, George Scott over Peter Booth.
Booth.
Booth. Okay.
Peter Booth, I just want to say real quick to everyone watching that NHRA did a attention to the pits with him. It's not out yet, but when it comes out, make sure you watch it. It will be, I guarantee, the #1 most watched attention to the pits ever. Pete Booth is the most unique guy in all of drag racing. His car, I won't spoil it, but he's been racing the same car in Super Gas since '84. And he built it himself. He's probably the longest running Super Gas racer on the planet.
A 1978 Porsche 924.
Yes. That he built in his garage in 1984 or 1983 and ran. So Super Gas started in '83 and he's been running it since every year and has not missed a year since '84.
That's only the second Porsche that I know of. Of course, the other one is Keith Mayer's.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. Super Street, Richard Larson over David Bain. Top Sportsman, Richard Okerman over Jeff Connolly. And Top Dragster, Kevin Wright over Micheline Roel. So congratulations to everybody. I'm sorry, what?
No,
Oh,
I didn't recognize that name, the runner-up.
Oh, for Top Dragster? Yeah, Micheline Roel.
Yeah, I don't know his name. Oh well. I was
It
there.
could be a typo. I did see a bunch of other typos on some stuff, but
Worries. But that was race 1 and 2 of the Division 7 series, and race Baby Gators, I believe, was race 2 for division. Yep.
So, John, go get some sleep.
I appreciate you having me on. I will see you maybe next week, maybe the week after, but we'll see you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna get some rest. Thanks, everybody.
All right, man. Have a great night. Thank you again for coming on, hanging out, John.
Not
And
a
thank
problem.
you to Madison Payne for coming on and talking. Appreciate her taking the time. And sorry I butchered the results a little bit, but that's the way it goes. Can't be perfect all the time. Congratulations to DJ Cox and Melissa Thompson on their engagement. And everybody have a great night. If you are in Florida and racing this coming weekend at the Gators, best of luck. Have fun, stay safe, stay warm, and enjoy. We'll be back next Monday night with TJ Zizo. See ya.